What's up, people? We're live. DC20 RPG live stream. We are revealing the weapon system. Whoo, buddy. And more maneuvers. We have been doing a rule reveal for a while now. This is part 7, I believe. Yes, part 7, and lots of stuff to get into and keep getting into. If you're behind on anything, if you don't know about anything, or if you're just curious, you will see through tonight. I'm going to set it up right now. You will see tonight what kind of things we got cooking up here in the DC20 RPG, new tabletop roleplay game in development right now, supported purely through Patreon. So thank you to the patrons now more than ever. Not gonna lie, things have been a bit rough across the board. I've talked with other D&D YouTubers. In the aftermath since the OGL, things have just been kind of trickling and whittling down. And this DC20 RPG is only possible from you guys and with you guys. So thanks to that, because the support for that is appreciated now more than ever. So I thank you for that. This entire live stream, this whole situation, let me bring it up. Oh, I guess I should probably share my screen, and then I'm going to get some welcomes in with everybody. This is the topics we've gone over so far. Everything in gold we have discussed in previous live streams. Tonight we are going over weapon systems, and then we're doubling back to show some maneuvers and techniques, because new updates is the alpha is a matter of weeks away now from being released. The alpha is being released. The alpha is being released to some tiers of patrons, limited tiers of patrons, and then once the alpha keeps going and the beta is ready, the beta is going to be available to all patrons, and then we're going to go do a big release and Kickstarter type situation, right? We're doing it right, people. So where the alpha's at, because I usually do like to go and answer some. This is a big question that I get a lot during these live streams, so I'm answering it now. Is with where it's at is right now, the team is reviewing the alpha, which is crazy. I have a small but badass team of people reviewing the alpha. They're doing a review right now. They have 2 weeks to review it. We're in the second week of review. At the end of this week of review, I get all the feedback. I'm going to go through it as I give them the classes. I don't know if I want to reveal which classes are going to be in the alpha, but all the classes they're going to get at the end of this week. They're going to review the classes while I polish off or go over the feedback, and then we swap, and then the PDF. So we're about a month and a half away from the release of alpha, which is super close. So there we go. But anyway, there's the whole rundown. How tonight works is this is the super chat system of I'm going to be explaining certain rules. If you have a rule that's just itching on you and you really want to ask it, a super chat, you can throw out a question. I will answer any question you can think of about DC20 RPG through that. But if not, I'm going to be staying focused to the topic of this live stream. I'm going to kind of go through the first part and try and knock out the explanation of what this thing is, the first half, first 2/3 or so, and then y'all can ask questions about it and we can talk about it, the back part of it, right? That's the big picture. And any and all super chats go towards funding of the DC20 project as well. So let's check in with everybody, see where we're at. Who's here? Jason's here. When does this start? It's right now, Jason. Let's go. Talon, you like the trailer? Appreciate you, bro. Talon, also the name of my son. So Talon right now. Talon Martin, best name in the chat right now. I'm sorry, I'm biased, y'all. 323 Starlight, finally here on time. Let's go. Robotega, what's up? Tista Rutabaga. Oh, that's a even more fun to say name. Terry Gutierrez. Terry Guerrez. I can't talk tonight, y'all. I had a semi tongue surgery, which is a weird long story. I'm fine. Everything's okay, but talking is just a little bit rough. So I took some pain medication before the stream, so we're fine because all this is talking. So we gotta get it done, y'all. Sam Bros, can't wait to see what DC's been showing us. Let's go. Oh, I'm gonna show you. Let's get to it. Liam's here. Let's go. Liam warps in. Yeah, control yourself today. I agree, Sam Bros. Liam's got to stay under control today. Don't get too crazy, Liam. Brandon, let's go. Whoop whoop. 1 month away. Pretty much. I would say if I had to estimate, it's about a month and a week. If I had to really try and estimate, we'll see how it goes. Wolves is here. How are you doing? Great Deanie? Great Deanie? What's up, Great Deanie? Cody Cook is part of the review team. Let's go. Samuel Skavarsky, Sam Bros, the Great Deanie, and then, whoa, Joseph, the super chat already. And now Joseph is the boss. Our bonus level up perks going to be part of your RPG. Ha ha ha. They felt necessary in 5e for personalization of a character. So do you feel like they'd be less necessary or useful in DC20? So, what a great question to start things off with. Bonus level up perks. In general, the bonus level up perks as a concept is a dungeon master's, another tool for dungeon masters to give to their players. And I want to keep it that way. Bonus level up perks are not going to be a part of DC20 as something that is mandatorily like forced onto people. No. The concept of bonus level up perks and talents that are given multiple times, points that are given multiple times, things that are given freely to customize and let you truly express your character, yes, 100%. So I hope, to try and answer the question, I hope that we've done such a good job of building and allowing people to customize their character that bonus level up perks, if a Dungeon Master chooses not to use them, aren't necessary, because you already feel with the base game that you're able to customize your character so much. You know what I'm saying? So, in that sense, bonus level, but every part of the game, your ancestries are going to have options and customizing choices. At level 1, you're going to have some options and choices here as you level up. Prestige across the game, there's plenty of perk customization moments. So, gotcha. Appreciate you for the super chat, Joseph. Appreciate you. And then we got Ryan Combs. Let's go. Dwarf Knight. Dwarf Knight. First time here, Dwarf Knight. I love saying your name, Dwarf Knight. Dwarf Knight. I like the D in the front, throwing me off. Ace Wheelie. Hey, can't wait for the alpha. Just started using your diversity system. Let's go. Dissociative identity disorder and control. I love to hear that, Ace. Appreciate you, Ace. Love that. Love that. Caleb, what's up, baby? Hey, Tales of Olran. Hey, Coach, glad to take part tonight. Welcome, Earl Ran. Ready to see these rules. Aaron, I always want to say Aaron, just from the that bit. Aaronin. I like that name, dude. And then another super chat from 32. I can't even start the live stream, y'all. I can't stop super chatting, guys, because I gotta get to the. I'm just kidding. I appreciate you guys. 323 Starlight, thank you for the super chat, bro. Let's start strong. Let's start the party. Also loving the downtime, Doc. Oh yeah, that's right. Appreciate the feedback on Patreon. Patreon not only supports the project of DC20 RPG, it also, you get a whole bunch of rewards. One of those is a big huge PDF every single month, and this one's about downtime. So appreciate you, 323 Starlight. Let's go. We are starting this live stream off hot, people, hot. And Great Deanie Gaming with a super chat. Got my coffee. We can start now. Okay, now you know what? Now I got my water, and Power Hungry would be happy. I do have another water bottle to back up the water bottle. You know what I'm saying? So we're hydrated, people. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Liam, it's not your fault this time. It's okay. I can't blame you this time. Let's go. And then Beto Arguelles. I love saying names. I'm sorry. Finally got to a live stream. Welcome, Beto. I hope I'm saying your name right. Chewed straw. No, you can check out the straw. The straw is not chewed. My wife has not gotten this straw. I did go buy her new straws. There was a super chat last time to buy my wife straws because I was using one of her chewed straws, and this is rubber. You know what? So maybe that's a lie. Maybe she did chew it, and I just wouldn't know because it's rubber. I don't know. Anyway, let's go. So, starting things off. Getting right into it. Whoa! and then right before I can do anything, Great Deanie, you just super chatted and then you super chat again. Great Deanie, no question, just finally making a live. 7 parts in, just wanted to pitch in some. Great Deanie, appreciate you. Great Deanie Gaming, let's go. I appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that. And 7 parts in, that means you've probably watched the other 6 parts. So thank you for even just investing your time and learning about this thing that we're doing and how cricket cool it's going to be. I hope you love it. Happy to be here, just like Barry is. Let's go. All right. So let's dive in. Okay, people, let's dive in. All right, weapon system. All right. So Weapons. Before I show you the weapons, because there's two really cool things about weapons. Actually, I guess there's three. Yeah. One is how we have structured the weapons. Two are weapon passives, and three are weapon actives, or AKA weapon maneuvers, right? Just like we talked about in 2 streams ago. So this would be part 5 if you want to go back and check out that. Everything with maneuvers and techniques here. In combat, in general, you have 4 action points. Again, guys, we're in part 7, so I can't just go back and re-explain each rule every single time. I'm going to try and do a good general job. But again, I've had videos and live streams about this to try and make sure y'all are up to date. So for the people that are pretty much up to date, this will make super sense. And if not, you have the different things. Undercat, what's up? To go back and check out. So in general, you have 4 action points in combat. You can spend them on stuff. I showed y'all about maneuvers, and maneuvers are cool because you can spend a point to attack, and then you can spend additional points on that attack to boost it in ways to enhance it, aka maneuvers, and cause it to be a trip attack. So spend 1 action point to make an attack, but you can spend a second one, an additional 1 point to turn it into a trip attack. So it's an attack and they could fall prone. Ooh, beautiful, right? Weapons also have maneuvers associated with those weapons. Now, time out. Only marshals get access to these cool weapon things, right? Weapon maneuvers and weapon passives are only for the martial characters, because it makes sense, because a fighter, a barbarian, these classes using these weapons, these martial classes using these weapons would be able to use them better than the wizard or the sorcerer next to them, right? Because the wizard and sorcerer have been spending time casting magic, and trust me, they're fine. They're casting magic, people. And these martial classes that use weapons as their source of damage, that's their primary means of expressing themselves in the battlefield, they're going to be able to do it better, right? So as marshals, and once we actually show a class here, which is actually the last thing down here is the classes, where I can go through, and I'll go through each class and kind of talk about what kind of their class vision is. Trust me, oh my god, I can't wait for that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so when you get a martial class, you get a martial mastery feature. So there's a fighter martial mastery feature, a rogue martial mastery feature, a monk martial mastery feature, etc. Right? You get a martial mastery feature for your class, and it gives you this little booster pack of things to be able to function as your class. It's very simple. So part of that for all of the martials is weapon passives for all weapons, and also or just maneuvers in general, which weapon maneuvers are part of that. So if you have an axe has a passive property that comes online if you're a martial. It has extra cool properties it uses passively on all attacks while wielding it. I'll get to that in a second. And then because you're using an axe, any sort of axe, there's a special maneuver that you can use with an axe to have additional cool properties that also are connected to the maneuvers. So anyway, that is, I'm talking about the big picture for all of this, right? I'm talking about martial mathery. If I'm stuttering, if I'm speaking weird, it's because I'm trying to shift my tongue to the left of my mouth to not like rub it on my my teeth. It's a long story. If anybody wants to know about that, it's not what we're here for. But yes, martial mathery. There's plenty of math in this game because I definitely use my math background to make sure this game is balanced and clean and all that kind of stuff. So heck yeah. Also, Barry, just because I saw this question, hard copies of Alexander's Almanac. Whenever I do the Kickstarter for DC20, one of the add-ons for DC20 is going to be Alexander's Almanac. I'm going to try and bring that back because I've gotten a bunch of feedback for that, because I can't do any more Alexander's Almanacs because it was all part of the Kickstarter, but it will make a comeback whenever I do the Kickstarter about a year from now, or 11 months from now for this. So yeah. Okay, cool. So that is weapon passives and weapon actives or maneuvers, right? But all weapons now, I'm going to talk about all weapons now for everyone. All weapons fit into 2 categories, right? In fact, let's go to the chart here. I'm going to bring this up. Where's my chart? Oh, there we go. So I can go to weapons. Oh no, that's armor. Weapons. Okay. Oh, but then I should move this here, bring it back, and I guess I can shift back to here. There we go. Okay. So here's weapons. Okay. I kind of referenced this last time a little bit in the end of the stream, but I wanted to show it to you here too. So weapons, there are 2 different kinds of weapons, just like there's 2 different kinds of armor, right? light armor, heavy armor, light weapons, heavy weapons. Oh my God, it's like just, very clean. So light weapons, everyone's proficient with light weapons. Any sort of light weapons, that's the simple type of weapons. These are light weapons, very simple. And then there's heavy weapons, which require, that's a whole nother category of weapon, you know what I'm saying? But in general, all weapons follow the structure I'm about to show you, okay? The structure is as follows. In fact, I'm going to, I guess this is big enough. This is fine. No, you know what? No, it's fine. I was going to do some fancy stuff, but it's fine. Okay. So, I talked about this cleanly last time. The one thing I want you to notice is the damage here. You have a little tiny weapon that deals 1 damage. And then you have a next step up that deals 2 damage, right? And then you have the next step up that deals 2 damage, or if you hold it with 2 hands, it deals 3 damage. The most basic and clean lineup across the board. Every single category of weapons, we have axes, chained weapons, hammers, picks, spears, staves, swords, unarmed weapons, which actually they're called fist weapons now, whips, and special weapons, right? And then we have bows and crossbows for ranged. But each of those categories has a little tiny baby 1 damage weapon, which usually has some extra little cool perk about it. It's concealable. You can hide it in places. It has the thrown property, throwing, it's some sort of dagger type situation. This would be your 1d4 thing from Dungeons and Dragons, right? Every category has that. And then there's a slightly bigger version that has the thrown property. This is in general the throwing weapon of this type of thing. It deals 2 damage, but you have to throw it, right? Cool. And if you throw it, then it's gone. You got to go back and pick it up and all that kind of stuff, right? And then there is the 2-handed version, the versatile property for light weapons, which is going to be 2 damage, or if you hold it with 2 hands, 3 damage, right? And this is the base damage for each of these weapons, right? And then every weapon has 2 heavy weapons. One of them is 2-handed with reach, and the other one is just 2-handed, but it's 4 damage instead of 3. So you basically have 2 options with your big heavy weapons. You deal 3 damage and you get reach, or you deal 4 damage and you don't get reach. I think it's a great choice. I think it's a very balanced choice. Love it, love it, love it. But there is a might requirement on the big old 2-hander. You got to have a might of 2 to be able to wield those. So, which is not hard to have. It's really not hard to have a might of 2, just in general, right? But you're not going to be a wizard with a might of 0 and I got a great sword. Whoa. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And that is in general how all of these work, right? Across the board. Swords, you have dagger, short sword, long sword, glaive, and a great sword. Let's go, right? Across the board. Now, whips all have the reach property, and there's some other cool things there, but in general, that's just how all these weapons are. We have some special weapons like a boomerang, a net, a rape. A net is a cool, legit weapon. Like, it's actually a good weapon in DC20. Rapier has some cool properties. Spiked hammer, Morningstar, all special weapon properties that have their own special weapon properties table, which I'm not going to really get into special weapons. That's a little bit too in-depth for this. Bows and crossbows, though, I do want to talk about this. I think we did it. I think we did it. There is a dynamic choice that you get to make as a ranged character between choosing a bow and choosing a crossbow. And speaking from personal experience, I love crossbows. I think it's so cool to have the mechanic of being able to reload your crossbow. So the difference is, if you look here at the damage, which actually I think we've updated the damage. I think this is 3 damage now because the damage is a little bit high. But again, you'll see in the alpha, the alpha document, I think this says 3, 3, 5. But anyway, it's updated in the Notion and not this little Google Doc. But anyway, a bow deals 2 damage. And you can just shoot it like a bow, like normal. But a crossbow, you have to spend 1 action point to load a bolt into the crossbow, and then you fire it. It does deal more damage per shot, but you see what I'm saying? So it's a really cool mechanic, and it's really balanced, and it feels good, especially with 4 action points. You move around, you load the crossbow up, you shoot it, and then you could load it for the next turn, and then you're out of action points, right? So you have 4 action points, you move somewhere, get in position, you fire the shot, you reload it, and you fire another shot, right? Ooh, but now at the top of your next turn, you don't have any ammo, so you got to reload, and then you got to think, and maybe you want to take, gosh, so cool. It's so cool, the different type of stuff you can do. So there is that, and we're back. Let me go back to the chat now. that is weapons in general, and now I'm going to talk about passives and actives for the martial people, right? So what we got? Liam with a super chat. What's up, Liam? This is one for my players. Wait, this one is for my players. More love needs to be shown to Japanese weapons. Katana, Nagitana, Komodo. D&D leaves out these weapons. Oh, interesting. So, Liam, what I would say is... just like how the weapon system works, just like how the armor system works, where there's light armor, heavy armor, and there's novice, adept, and master. Novice, apprentice, master. There's 3 different levels to the armor, and you can flavor and call the armor whatever you want. So with these Japanese weapons, I'm not well versed enough in Japanese weapons to know where they would fit, but the weapon chart I just showed you, you could easily take one of those weapons and put it on one of those 5 categories. I assume these are all bladed weapons, so you could go to the sword category and then put it in there for that. Cool. And then look at the special weapon properties, and maybe one of the special weapon properties is similar to that. So if these blades have different properties to them to where they should be represented mechanically differently, that'd be interesting, and we could, that'd be an interesting special weapon option to go down. So I would love to be well versed in that as you are. That's really cool. And Tabor Johnson with the first time super chat, appreciate it. First live, love DC20, thanks for the inspiration. Tabor comes in for the first live, super chats for the first time, doesn't even ask a question, just says thanks. Appreciate you, Tabor Johnson. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. Let's go. And also I just saw 323 Starlight. Keep in mind, this is the base version of the game. 100%. You guys know me. Come on. Al Kenner's Almanac of All Things. Come on. Guarantee you me there will be an expansion of extra weapons. There'll be a weapons expansion, there'll be a crafting expansion, there'll be so many different expansions to be able to add content to the game to be able to do these types of certain things. 100%, right? A cool table index is category. Yeah. And part of the and trust me, Liam, I know is going to be giving feedback in that because Liam's part of the alpha. The feedback I'm going to be getting from patrons, that's another reason why I'm developing it through Patreon, is so I can get feedback from patrons about more special weapons. If I hear more special weapons from patrons, of course we're going to add more special weapons. Well, of course, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, there we go. Now, and all right, sweet. That's weapons. Oh yeah, so now passives, weapon passives. Now, let's actually go to the document. Ooh, look at that, all purple. All purple? What? All purple? If anyone's been around here for a while, y'all have seen this when it was like red and orange, and then now it's being all purple. It's freaking crazy, y'all. And then thanks for swinging by, Undercat. Let's go. Nagatana is a type of spear, and a kimono is a type of club. Oh, interesting. So, let's see. We are talking about weapon. We're talking about weapon maneuvers. So that's going to be in... I'm pretty sure there'd be a maneuvers. Yeah. Passives. Okay. So, weapons, attacks. We talk about those. We'll talk about grapple and defense in a second. Weapon maneuvers. Here we go. If you are familiar with Al Kenner's Almanac of All Things, some of these are that. Because if also you didn't know this... Al Kenner's Almanac of All Things was first DC20. I've been making DC20 for years now, longer than y'all have known about it. And I was going to release DC20 or start talking about it the year after 2024, whenever D&D came out with their new D&D. I was going to let their new D&D come out, wait a second, and then talk about DC20 RPG. But they forced my hand on it with all this OGL stuff, and then now we're getting it earlier. Yeah, that's, a blessing in disguise, I guess. But a lot of this stuff from Al Kenner's Almanac is things that I had these cool ideas that add to the game, and then they're turned into 5th edition, or it worked for both, or whatever, right? So a lot of this, you're going to see some similar inspiration or where ideas come from. So if you like what you see in Al Kenner's Almanac, you're going to love DC20. All right, so, and then, Matthew Heyman, what's up, dude? Let's go. That's awesome. Okay. So it's a renaissance, baby. Let's go. I agree, Rutabaga. So Axe, here we go. The axe has a style passive. Oh, interesting. The passive's listed second. So anyway, each weapon has an active that you can spend an action point to do, and a passive that always happens. So for example, there's an axe maneuver. The axe maneuver costs 1 action point. You deal an additional damage, and the target has to make a save against bleeding, right? So you have to spend 1 action point to make an attack, but then you can spend an additional action point to make the axe maneuver, right? So at 2 points into 1 attack. So it's an attack that deals 1 damage, and they have to make a save against bleed, right? And you're putting the bleed condition on them. And then watch how this beautifully connects, because the axe's passive is the axe passively deals 1 additional damage to creatures that are bloodied, which means less than half health, or are bleeding. Ooh, interesting, right? So the axe deals 1 bonus damage to those type of targets passively, right? So you can start to see how now the flat damage system of like my axe deals 2 damage isn't actually flat at all, because what type of damage you can deal changes with what weapons you use, changes with what abilities you use, what class you have, class features, abilities, maneuvers, weapons properties, passives, actives, all these different things that you can be able to do to deal damage in these cool ways, right? So love it. I just did a playtest with patrons, and one of the feedback points that they gave was, I never even realized I wasn't rolling for damage. I thought I would, like the patron that gave this feedback, they were like, I was sad when you said there was no dice, like when you don't roll dice for damage. I was actually sad. That was my least favorite thing that you said about DC20. But now playing it, I just realized at finishing the playtest, I never even thought about it. And I don't feel like it's needed at all whatsoever. So that was really great feedback to see that, because that's a concern of mine. I get that people want to roll dice, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I could go off on that. But there we go. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate you, Barry. But you also can see how axes and the play style of axes is self-contained. It feeds into itself, right? It deals more damage when targets are bleeding, and you can cause targets to bleed, right? So I think that's a very smooth way of handling all of that, right? So anyway, there's all of the weapons have all of these different types of features that you can have, right? So in fact, here's what we'll do. You guys say a weapon type, and I will let you know what weapon type that thing does, right? Because I don't think we should go through every single one of these, because I'll probably will have a video for that, and I'm gonna be releasing Unearthed Arcana type things where there's like a page of what these different things are. But say a weapon type, and then we'll go into that, right? First one I saw are whips. Okay. I'll do like 3 or so, right? So whips, let's see. Whips. So the passive for a whip is you deal 1 extra damage to creatures farther than 1 space away from you, right? Because what's the most dangerous part of a whip, right? The end, right? The pow part, right? So I was thinking about it, and I was like, it would be harder to hit somebody close to you, right? Like if you have a whip and somebody's close to you, like, yeah, I'm sure you can like, pow, 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 like hit them stuff. But a whip has reach, right? So a whip can hit you from 2 spaces away, right? So if you deal damage to people at the max range of a whip, right, at the end of the tip of the whip, right, it deals an extra bonus damage. So whip people now have to kind of think about their spacing and all that kind of stuff. So freaking cool. One of the playtesters had a whip, masterfully done. It was so freaking cool, right? So there's that. And the whip has the most complicated maneuver. Is the whip has one the whip's maneuver is 1 action point. You deal an additional 1 damage, and the target makes a martial save against being tethered by your whip. Right? Tethered is basically grappled, but they're grappled to you through a 2 space long, whip that you can kind of move, so they can move to you, right? They can move within your whip's range from yourself, so they can run around you in circles, but they can't run away from you. So you're tethered by the whip. Super freaking cool. Absolutely love it. And then in the playtest, somebody tethered somebody with a whip and then threw them. Oh my God. So anyway, love the whip right there. So there we go. All right. What's the next one I'm seeing? Let's see. I'm seeing halberd. Okay, cool. Yeah. Halberd and glaive. I'm seeing a bunch of halberd and glaive. Okay. So, Double checking now. I'm double checking my own work here. Let's go. In fact, I'll pull this back. I'll shift over back here. So halberd. I think if I go, it's going to be a sword. No, it's going to be an axe. Halberd probably would be an axe. Yeah. Halberd's an axe. So halberd would get the axe properties like I just talked about. So that's super cool. Bow versus crossbow. Yeah, we'll talk about bow. We'll do bow versus crossbow. A scythe. A scythe is an axe category as well. Because I mean, if you think about it, axe and scythe are pretty much the same type of deal there. And then mace. Okay, cool. We'll do hammer. All right. Yeah. Going back. Oh, I gotta pull this back up. Okay. So hammer. Oh, I guess we just hang out right here. Hammer is one action point to deal a bonus damage, and the target makes a save against being prone. Right. So the hammer, you're smashing people to the ground. Right. So the hammer's maneuver, you spend an action point to deal a bonus damage and knock them prone, all for one action point, which is very efficient, right? And the hammer's passive is you deal a bonus damage to creatures that are prone or petrified. I think petrified is a super cool flavor thing. If they're turned to stone and you have a hammer, hell yeah, right? So anyway, I think that's a cool thing for the hammer. Now, I'll end this whole thing with weapons. Versatile reach weapon. There is not a versatile reach weapon because I feel like a versatile reach weapon, it's a real strange combination there because you have to be able to wield it with one hand, which would be kind of like a spear. Versatile reach. Oh, actually, there is a versatile reach weapon. Hold up. Time out. The spear. Yeah. Spear weapons. Spear trident. Oh, interesting. So versatile reach. Let me go back to whip. Yeah, versatile reach is a chain whip. Chain whip could be versatile reach. And then if you wanted to reflavor that to be a spear or any such other thing, you could use the chain whip block here and reflavor it to be that. So yes, there is a versatile reach. I got you. And then, where were we at? Oh, yeah. Okay, so crossbow. Crossbows have a one action point maneuver, right? Where you can move up to 2 spaces towards your target without provoking opportunity attacks, right? So, let me say the passive first. So the crossbow's passive is you deal 1 additional damage against targets within 4 spaces of you. Additionally, you do not have disadvantage on attack checks made when using a crossbow from being underwater. So if you're underwater with a crossbow, there's not disadvantage on your attacks. And if you're within 4 spaces, bang! It's you deal 1 bonus damage. And for crossbows, you can move up to 2 spaces towards your target without provoking opportunity attacks, right? So it's like a mini disengage that you can spend moving 2 spaces towards your target without opportunity attacks. And then the opposite of that is true for bow. You deal 1 bonus damage against targets farther than 8 spaces from you. So far away ranged shots. You want to try and stay far away with the bow. So then the maneuver feeds into that is 1 action point. You can move up to 2 spaces away from the target without provoking opportunity attacks from it, right? So that is how bows and crossbows are opposite and mirrored with each other, is far away versus close. And I thought that was a fun way to make them opposites and feel different as well. But then I have gotten feedback before about, crossbows are still good at shooting from far away and all this other kind of stuff as far as like the realism of bows versus crossbows and why am I getting so short? And this is, I understand, a little bit more gamified as far as like, attacking close versus far, but I think I'm not a master marksman in real life, but I think it would be easier to point and shoot a crossbow at somebody at close range than a bow. But then it would be easier to hit somebody with a bow closer than farther. But you know what I'm saying? So you see, so I fully admit that the bow crossbow situation is an interesting thing, and it's one of my top things that I'm looking for as far as potential changes coming with alpha based on playtest feedback. But from playing it myself, I really do like the bow and crossbow, but maybe I like the bow and crossbow based on the reload mechanics of the crossbow and not because of these maneuver things. So anyway, that is something that we will that it will wait to be seen. Axe on a pole, pole arms, javelin, Liam, what's up with another super chat? Will my monster be in the alpha or will I have to wait for the beta? There are no monsters in the alpha right now. So what's going to be released in the alpha is the base game. Sorry, I guess I can't say there's no monsters in the alpha. It's going to be baseline monsters, and then as more things come out, I'm going to be releasing an alpha one shot, alpha monsters, extra classes, other things will be start to come out with the alpha. But right now, I want to get you guys the game system, and then so that people can start making their own monsters and start doing stuff. Because trust me, I'm pretty sure everybody would rather have it sooner than be like, oh, 1 second, guys, let me take another week or so, or make some monsters and have all that stuff, instead of having it kind of flow out at a more steady pace. So there you go. And then, oh yeah. So Theater of the Mind and Spaces. Trust me, Theater of the Mind is going to work very, very smoothly with the whole concept of spaces, right? And because different combats might have different spaces of different distances, right? So from 1 to 5 spaces might be short, from 5 to 15 might be medium, and 15 and past is long, and then you just have short, medium, long. And Theater of the Mind, there you go, right? So I think the concept of spaces is going to be very, very clean as far as when it comes to Theater of the Mind, but just in general. So there's that. And then, Paxton Poll, are there firearms? Firearms in the base game for the base alpha, I don't think there's going to be firearms. If I get a bunch of feedback from patrons saying, we want firearms, I could see myself doing it, and I definitely can see myself also putting a stretch goal on Patreon or a stretch goal in Kickstarter for adding firearms, if that's something that is wanted, right? Because I do have ton of things that I made a video about firearms on YouTube a while ago, and it did not perform well enough for me to make the follow-up video that I said. And I said, if I make a follow-up video, then I'm going to release all the gun stuff. But I do not. That did not happen then, and we'll see if it happens now. So yeah. And they would be more so magical slanted guns, because it would not be like modern type guns, kind of like what Rudabig is saying. But yeah, there's definitely a reload mechanic. There's a misfire mechanic. There's plenty of really cool things to handle guns and how to put them in a game. But I want to see if that's something that should be a rabbit hole that should be gone down. So there we go. All right, cool. So there is. But the next thing to talk about after maneuvers is grapple maneuvers. Check this out. So, timeout. Hold up. Okay. So, how this works now is because then, oh man, we're already over halfway through. All right. So, I'm going to go over grapple maneuvers a little bit quicker. So here's how this goes. The other two things I want to talk about in this live stream are grapple maneuvers and defensive maneuvers. I'm very, very excited about both of these. Grapple maneuvers, if you're familiar with attack maneuvers, right? So attack maneuvers, you make an attack and you can add extra stuff onto the attack, just like I've talked about already, right? You make an attack and you can add on extra action points to add extra properties to your attack. The same is true for grappling. Oh my God, it's just the foundation of this system is so easy to make rules for, because it just makes sense. So, grapple maneuvers. In order to perform a grapple maneuver, you have to have a target that is grappled. And if you have a target that is grappled, you can spend an additional action point to make a grapple check against them and add extra properties onto it to do extra things, right? Here's a couple of things you can do with grapple maneuvers. If you have a target grappled, and you are targeted by this is a reaction you can do, right? So reactions can be done at any time, right? If you have a target grappled and you're the target of an attack or spell check that deals damage, you can spend 2 action points to reposition the creature and shield yourself from the damage. The target takes half and you take half. How sick is that? You can grapple a creature and freaking use it as a shield. Now, keep in mind, you have to have a creature that is grappled, meaning you beat it in a grapple check, right? You beat it in a grapple contest where you made an athletics check against its athletics or acrobatics. You all know how grapple works. You had to beat it in a check, a contested check. You had to have it grappled, right? And then somebody's shooting you with something, whether it's an arrow or a little bolt of fire or something, and you're going to, and you're going to turn him into the way of it, right? But You're spending 2 action points to do it. I don't want you guys to think this is just broken and overpowered. There is cost to this, but I love how dynamic it is. You spend 2 action points, decent amount of action points, to move the creature in the way of it, right? And it takes half of the damage and you take the other half. But you do have to beat it in the contest. Keep that in mind. So this is not something that's just going to happen all the time or whatever. You're spending 2 action points. And that's a risk because you're going to have to beat it in a check again. So you're going to have to make another athletics check against it and beat it again. And if you beat it, you move it and you share the damage with it. I think it's freaking sick. I think it's so cool that this is the type of stuff you can do in the game, right? And then you can pin a target. If you have a target grappled, you can restrain the creature until the grapple ends. And then you can slam the creature and deal damage to them, right? You can like slam them into the ground, slam them against the wall, just freaking like crank their arm, like right? Deal damage to them through the grapple. Takedown, the target falls prone. You can just like take them to the ground, right? So you turn a grapple into a prone, right? And the reason why takedown's there, because people are like, oh, well, why would you want to throw them prone? What if you want to throw the target? Oh my God, you can throw the target and it has a whole situation for throwing. Now, time out. You can combine these in all of these different ways. Do you see what I'm saying here? So if you wanted to slam a creature like a suplex takedown and you have a creature grappled and you wanted to grab it, suplex it behind you like WWE wrestler style, like grab it around their waist and like hawk them over your shoulder like that, you would spend 1 action point for the slam grapple, another action point for the takedown, and you could spend another action point for slam, which means 2 action points for slam, 1 action point for takedown. So to show you what that means, right? 2 slam would be for 2 damage and 2 more damage. That's 4 damage, and it falls prone to do a bang, right? And so you would make a grapple check, contest it against it. If you win, you get everything. You 4 damage to the thing and slam him to the ground and he's prone. Oh, man. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, grappling is actually a thing you can do that's fun. And, oh, man, you can throw people. You can combine. Oh. Get pretty excited with this stuff, guys. I'm sorry. We got a super chat. DJ One Eye. DJ One Eye. Hi, I forgot to donate on the day you streamed one day before. It was exactly 1 year ago, and I did my speech. Oh, dang, that's cool, man. Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. I was there for that speech, bro. That's so cool. That is so cool. 1 day before 1 year ago, man. DJ One Eye was a former student of mine back in the day when I was a teacher. So props to you, DJ One Eye. Let's go. Stop super chatting me, bro. You're good. I appreciate you. So heck yeah. Sumo wrestler. I'm making a sumo wrestler. Let's go. Wrestler characters pretty tempting. That's what I'm saying, right? Choke so they pass out. There are 3 things: silencing, suffocating, and there's one other thing that's going to be released in the later alpha. That's the rules currently, but there is a suffocation, choke out, sleeper hold type of situation that I wanted to go down the rabbit hole as well. So yeah, there's that. And now the last one before I'll just open it up to just a chitty chat before we go are defensive maneuvers, guys. Defensive maneuvers are going to blow your minds. Like I'm trying. I hope I don't sound like cocky or like braggadocious or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I genuinely think this is so fun. Like, it's so cool. So here's how defensive maneuvers work. Okay. So I feel like this is what's missing from every tabletop roleplay game I've played. I love tanks. In World of Warcraft, I played tanks, which was my first. I played it back in high school. I played it for so long. I love tanking. I want to protect other people, and like I'm playing in a Pathfinder game right now. I'm a tank, right? I'm playing it like I always wanted to protect people around me, and like I always love playing that type of character, right? So You can't do that in Dungeons and Dragons. You really can't. I'm sorry. I know you can build tank characters, but it's just weird, right? So in DC20, there are taunt mechanics. There are things like that make sense. That's not just like some meta, like, you attack me. Oh, okay, I will attack you. And it's not. So there's really cool ways to do things. And you can tank how you should tank in a TTRPG, because since it's a role-playing game, you can't, unless magically so, force people to attack you. Because in video games, there's taunting and aggro and stuff like that. And tanks, like, have aggro on things, right? But then a lot of times it doesn't make sense. Why would the boss not just attack the weak guy in the back? You know what I'm saying? So tanks in real life or in TTRPGs should work differently, right? So here is my best shot at defensive maneuvers. Let me know what you think. So here we go. Parry. While you're wielding a melee weapon, you can take a reaction to parry. All martials, again, this is martials only, people. All those grapple maneuvers, martials only. Maneuvers in general, martials only. You're not going to be able to do this, wizards. Shut up. You can cast spells. Go home. You're fine. Go cast some spells. Anyway, defensive maneuvers. Parry. Every martial gets the ability to parry. It's a reaction. It's a reaction while wielding a melee weapon against a creature in one space of you that makes an attack against a creature within one space of you, right? So there is a creature within one space of you, including yourself, is attacked. That's the trigger for the reaction. So if you or an ally around you is attacked, that's the trigger for the reaction. You can spend one action point to increase your armor class, sorry, not armor class, your physical defense by 5. Just for that check. Holy is that the shield spell? Wait, what? That's crazy, right? Trust me, time out. It's not broken. Stay with me. If y'all think that that's too powerful or too broken, it's for one attack. It's just for one attack. So somebody's getting attacked. You're getting attacked, right? You're getting attacked, and you spend an action point to parry it to raise your physical defense by 5 for that attack and that attack alone, right? Oh, baby. Let's go. Now, there is still going to be a shield type spell in the game as a reaction, and you can raise your shield and whatever. It's going to be, but it's going to stay there for the whole round. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, don't worry. I didn't just steal the shield spell, right? But you get parry, right? So I just saw Silt said, can you parry with a maul or a dagger? Yeah, you can bat it away. You can just flavor it as a dodge. You can flavor it as like a punching out of the way. A dagger, you just like nick where you stab it into the hilt or whatever and swirl it around. However you want to describe your parry. You can even describe your parry as moving, as nimbly backbending and dodging. It's called parry, but you can roleplay flavor it whatever you want. You're a martial character. You're a rogue. Do a backflip. I don't care. So you temporarily increase your armor class by 5 against the check, right? And the target gains +5 a bonus to their physical defense. So you could parry an attack coming at you, or you could parry an attack coming at anyone within one space of you because you want to protect other people. So you're the fighter standing next to the wizard, and the wizard gets attacked. You can try and parry that attack and defend them. You can spend one of your action points to increase their physical defense by 5. Defender, parry, right? See what I'm saying, right? Like parry to help. I don't know what you mean by parry to help. Parry into a disarm with. In general, I'm very careful with disarm, for the record. So parry into disarm, no in general, because I'm very cautious with disarm and its uses. Could a subclass or a class or a talent or something like that grant that? Stargate Mind? Yes, that would be but that's not going to be a baseline thing. I don't, trust me, and I don't think you'd want this either. You don't want a baseline marshals to be able to parry disarm every. I just don't think that's good for, just for the health of the game. But a talent specifically investing into that, yes. But anyway, so now here we go. So now it gets better. Protection. A creature that you can see within one space of you is hit by an attack or spell that deals damage, right? This is a different ability. So a creature that you can see within one space is hit with an attack. You can spend one action point to take half the damage for them, but the damage bypasses damage reduction. So you are throwing your body in the way, right? And you're like, no, boom, and you take some hits too, right? So, and how this would work is they take damage. You'd be like, they got hit. This is before the Dungeon Master says how much damage it is, right? So they get hit by the attack. They say, oh, that's a hit. Ooh, okay. That's your moment. You have a reaction there. If you're within one space of them, you can do the protection. You can spend an action point to protect them, and you take half their damage, they take the other half, right? You share the damage between the two of you. I think that's freaking cool, right? And then, hold up. Then, where's it at? Swap, steadfast, where's the thing? Physical save, sidestep. No. Where is it? Raise shield. There we go. Oh, there we go. Raise shield is while you're wielding a shield. This is the third one. This is the third one now, right? Third one is raise shield. Okay. While you're wielding a shield, you or a creature you can see within one space that you're just targeted by attack or spell. You can spend an action point and they gain damage reduction equal to your shield's physical defense. So shields in general have a physical defense of 2, just like in D&D. I have an armor of 2. So you can spend an action point. Somebody within one space of you can spend one action point, throw your shield out there, and give them 2 damage reduction. Unless you have a smaller shield, it's 1 damage reduction. But you can throw your shield out to give them their damage reduction instead. So you have now 3 choices to protect people around you. You can give yourself included too. I guess you can't protect yourself because if you took half damage from yourself, you'd still be taking you get the idea. But so somebody around you, right? Somebody around you, you can give them 5 armor class. You can throw your shield in front of them to give them 2 physical defense, or you can protect them. You know what I'm saying? How freaking cool is that? And you could do multiple of those, right? So if somebody's getting attacked, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw a shield in front. I'm gonna do like you can spend your action points to protect people like you would want to as your character. Now you're spending action points to do it, right? So if you have 4 action points and you spend all these protection. You ran out of action points. Your turn comes if you spend all 4 of your action points in some way. I don't see this happening too often, but let's just say hypothetically you spend all of your action points protecting people on your turn. That's all off your turn as reactions. You're just spending action points protecting people, right? Your turn comes up. You have no action points. All right, cool. My turn's over. Bloop. And then at the end of your turn, you get 4 action points back. And now I guess you could do it again, but then you wouldn't be able to do as much in your turn. But that's the whole point of the big picture of this game is you can play how you want. If you want to protect people, cool. It comes at a cost though, right? You can just do it for free. Now, other classes and other specific things, other subclasses, other tanking talents that you can take might give you 1 free reaction per round to protect some, and lighten the load on some things. So this is, again, just the baseline version of the game. And then the only other thing, there's taunt. Yep. Taunt, swap places. You can swap places with a creature. You can if you take a save, if a save's happening to you from like a martial contest or something, you can spend action points to grant yourself advantage on saves. And this one's really cool. This is the last one I'll say. Sidestep is the reaction is if you are targeted by an attack or a spell check. If you're targeted by an attack or a spell check, either one, if you're targeted by one, you can spend 1 action point to move 1 space, but it has to still be within the attack's range. And when you do, the attack check has disadvantage. So it's a quick little sidestep, whether it's you're standing in a certain space and they attack you and you sidestep over here, you move 1 space, but you still have to stay within the range of the attack, right? But if it's a ranged attack, you can like dive off to the side. So you can actually move a little 1 space while it's not your turn, and it gives disadvantage to the attack. It's super simple. It's still balanced because you could take the dodge action, but this is kind of a reaction to do it, right? And it's a little bit of a but again, you lose that action point. It's not on your turn, etc. Right? So anyway, there is the big picture of defensive maneuvers. So and that brings us to the end of the stream where I open it up and send it to you guys to the chat to kind of talk about it. So if you guys have questions about it, do the @TheDungeonCoach so I can see it in orange, and I'll try and answer those questions until the end of the stream. But there is weapons, grapple maneuvers, defensive maneuvers. Boom, there we go. So, and then hold up, we got another super chat from Liam. Liam, what are you doing? Can we have a Bloodborne style prey and visceral attack? I don't know what prey and visceral attack is. I have not played Bloodborne. I've played Elden Ring, but I have not played Bloodborne. So I can't. We might already have that ability in here. I don't know, but we'll see. And then, so yeah. So we need a dolphin dive. Dolphin dive. Horse in the sands. What's up, horse? So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Totally planning a back-flipping wizard. Oh man, let's go. Magic. Oh my, what's up, my? I hope there's a technique called riposte, which is a trigger if you have parry a creature within one space. Spend stamina to make a weapon attack against a creature. Yes, I think what you just said is one of the strongest type of things you can give a character to be able to, as an opportunity attack off their turn, make an attack back at somebody. Yes, riposte is a thing. It is part of the dueling fighting style for fighters. So fighters at level 1 get a fighting style. One of those fighting style is duelist, and they are able to riposte. And it's not even based on a parry or based on anything like that. It's simply if somebody attacks back at you, you can like attack back at them, etc. I'd have to look at the fighter to see if it's on a miss or on other things, subtle things like that. But yes, there's things like that for fighting styles, and I can see also things like that in certain talents and stuff as well. So yes. And then Liam, you say raise shield like raise shield, rises shield, raise shields. Raise shields. It does sound like I say raise shields. Raise shield. Raise shield. I should separate the two words. Moving fortress. Wait, what? Moving fortress feat. I don't know what that is. Okay, here comes some more questions. Sam Bros. I love that rogue with a dagger can make a wizard do a backflip parry. Wait, what? I love that the rogue with a dagger can make the wizard do a backflip parry. First of all, the wizard can't parry because he's not a martial class. You know what I'm saying? And so the wizard's not going to be able to... Any of the things I just listed off, a wizard won't even be able to do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that makes sense, Sam Bros, because I know you were kind of joking, but then I couldn't tell if you thought something, so I just had to make sure to clarify. There you go. Rogues get dual wielding. Anyone can dual wield, or any martial can dual wield, right? Technically, I guess anybody can dual wield, but that's a you can just choose to have one weapon in each hand. That's a whole situation, and you would just have in DC20, if you have a two-handed damage, if you have a one-hander in this hand, it deals 2 damage. If you have another one-hander in this hand, you deal 4 damage when you make an attack against a creature. It deals 4 damage. You see what I'm saying? So that's a whole thing. And then because a two-hander, one big huge weapon deals 2 damage. You see what I'm saying? But I do probably need to put something in. You know what? Because of you just said that, I'm going to make a note for myself right here about dual wielding for non-martials. Where to explain? Yeah, so I'm going to make a note there about dual wielding. That's a good point. I want to make sure that the dual wielding is clear how the thing would work. But anyway, I meant to say parry. Visceral is basically a riposte. Okay, yeah, there you go. So Liam, it already is in the game. There we go. Because I can also see that Bloodborne analogy where you like parry somebody and like boom and you hit them back. I see it. Do characters get stronghold in safe houses between adventures? Yeah, Stargate. So that whole concept, like strongholds and stuff, 100% going to be a expansion type thing. 100% something that we're actually going to be coming up with on Patreons and other resources coming out soon that we're doing. So yes, I love having them have strongholds. I just gave my characters a stronghold. Excuse me. In Curse of Strahd, they're in Vallaki, and they're our heroes, and the Burgomaster is making them a house, right? I very much so believe in safe houses and strongholds and stuff. So stay tuned for that, because that is going to be a thing for sure. Wait, Stargate Mine, Path of the Demon Possessed Barbarian. Did you see something? That's a thing. One of the barbarian subclasses thing is like you get possessed by a spirit, and that's what your rage is like. Yeah. So anyway, how does the ready action work with the reactions? Great question, Max H. So how readied actions work is they actually work, because in D&D, I don't think they work at all. In D&D, you can say what you're going to do as an action and then hold that action, but then spend a reaction to perform that action. And it has to be it's just weird in my opinion. It's just clunky, I guess would be the word I'm looking for. In DC20, on your turn, you can make up your own reactions and spend points on things as a reaction for something that may or may not happen, right? My example is this. Let's say there's a creature that's like running in and out of cover, right? And it's they're far away across the battlefield. There's no way you could run up over there. You have your bow and you're like, God dang it. It just darted behind a huge boulder and it's behind it. There's no way you can get to it. So you're like, okay, in DC20, just like you would maybe do in real life or just like it feels right in combat, you could say, I'm going to ready a shot. I'm going to ready a shot for once I see him. I'm going to ready a shot, and I'm going to spend one action point for the shot. I'm going to give it advantage. I'm going to spend a second point, give it advantage. I'm going to make it a crossbow maneuver, and whatever, right? I'm going to do all these things, right? And the trigger for that would be as soon as I see it, right? So let's say you spend 3 action points. You spend 1 action point to move somewhere, and then you spend the rest of your 3 action points on this one shot that you're saying you're going to take, and your trigger is next time you see that creature in this round, right? So that's your turn. You've already spent those action points. So you had 4 action points. You spent 1 to move somewhere. You spent 3 action points as a held action, but you spent them. You spent them to create your own reaction. You spent them on a reaction you haven't taken yet. It's like a coupon. You have those 3 points are now a coupon that you have. I'll make a coupon right here. I'll make a coupon. You have a coupon, right? So you're like, all right, so I move and then I take 3 action points and I spend, now I have a coupon. I have an attack that guy when he pops his little head out, I'm gonna shoot him. And you've created your own reaction. You've now spent all of your action points and bloop, you get your next round, you get your, at the end of your turn, you get your action points back, right? So now your character has this coupon. And as the round's going on, until it gets to the top of your turn, as the round's going on, if that little guy pops his freaking head out, shoo, you're shooting the arrow, right? And let's say that, if your tactics are good and you made a good call, it pops out like you thought, and then you make your shot. Cool, you made your shot. Great, right? But let's say on that turn, the barbarian runs across the battlefield, catches up to him, and tackles him behind the pillar. Well, all right, that's wasted. And that's the part of the balance of being able to do these held action things. If the thing you say doesn't happen, or it doesn't work out, then you can't spend those points, right? So, dang it, right? Because you're sitting there waiting for it, and then they don't pop their head out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's very smooth how held actions work. It just works. So there's that. Sambrose, rogue parries to protect the wizard by doing a backflip to distract the attacker. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So I could see the rogue like doing like a little roundhouse, boom, bah, to try and like distract the wizard, like pull the wizard back, or like grab the wizard and pull him back to kind of help and dodge. Whatever sort of way you want to describe this marshal helping someone around them, physically protect them. Let's go, right? And then Dwarf Knight. Sorry if it's already been answered, but how do hybrid classes deal with weapon maneuvers and weapon proficiencies? I know they get stamina and they get maneuvers, but what about passives? So hybrid class, great question, Dwarf. Hybrid classes, which right now there are 2 of these so far. Actually 3. There's 3 of these so far. Anyway, hybrid classes. I'll use Paladin for example. Paladin's the easiest one. Paladin is the hybrid class. Paladin gain a Paladin martial mastery feature and a Paladin spellcasting feature. They get both, right? Now, in the big picture balance of a Paladin's still balanced because I keep that in mind, that they also can do maneuvers and they also can do spells in some limited way, right? But a Paladin gets full access to martial maneuvers and stuff. Yes, right? So you're able to get that. That's weapon proficiencies. That's everything, right? So hybrid classes are granted certain mastery features as their bundle booster pack that they get at level 1, right? And that's it in general. Now, in general, I'll see if this makes sense. I guess I'll use the other. There's a summoner class that's also a hybrid class, which is not going to be in the alpha. But the summoner class is a hybrid class. The summoner, the actual spellcaster summoner, the summoner gets a spellcasting feature, right? And the summoner gets a martial mastery feature. But only the things they summon can use the martial mastery feature, right? So the summoner, the caster, the spellcaster summoner cannot perform martial maneuvers, but the things it summons can. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, there's different ways of doing it, or different ways that some of the different hybrid classes do it, depending on what the hybrid class is. But in general, hybrid classes would just gain access or not gain access to certain things, and they would come online that way. And if anyone wants to pick up martial mastery features and martial weapon passives, all the spellcaster has to do is at level 2. At level 2, any spellcaster can go take a martial feature and gain access to those cool weapon abilities, right? So if they want to dabble around, they totally can. So there we go. Liam with another super chat. Liam, I thought you said you weren't going to go crazy tonight, Liam. Calm down, Liam. 7th level talent that lets you dual great axes. Oh, that's the Titan's grip from World of Warcraft. Dual wielding two-handers. Crazy, bro. First of all, that'd probably be an 11th level talent. But I could see it, bro. I could see that being a talent, but it'd be at prestige levels 11 and beyond. So, yeah. Could you help a shield as a weapon live? Oh. Dathan, hold up. I think I got something for you, Dathan. Let me see if I have it in here. Where is it? Equipment? No. Attacks? Shoot. Where would that be? Attacks, shield. Oh, man. Attacks, climbing. I really want to find this now just for my own. Oh, there we go. No flanking, combat, unarmed strikes, improvised weapons. You can attack with a shield. Okay? You can attack with a shield. So I want to say, and we're going to equipment. We're going to check out shields real quick. Weapon, armor, shields, light shields, heavy shields, shield type, shield modifications. Attacking with shields. I got you, bro. Attacking with shields, straight from the alpha document. If you have mastery with shields, it's considered a melee weapon that deals bludgeoning damage equal to its physical defense bonus. See shields table. So if your shield grants you 1 armor, right, 1 physical defense, it deals 1 damage when you hit somebody with that smaller shield. But if you have a big old shield and you want to hit somebody with it, you can, and it deals damage equal to your physical defense bonus of the shield. So I got you. And there is one shield that has a thrown property. So I got you, Captain America. Salute, bro. So does AP reset on initiative count 20? Yeah. So Max, once combat starts, combat starts. Everybody gets 4 action points, right? And then your turn, you can spend them whenever you want. And then your turn comes on. You better spend them now. You better spend all your points before the end of your turn, because at the end of your turn, boop, you get all your action points back, and then you repeat the cycle. So that's how that works. And then Walter W., how do versatile weapons work in your system? Do they do more damage? Yeah. So versatile weapons deal 2 damage if held in one hand, or 3 damage if wielded in both hands. Bang. There we go. So there's the rundown. Summoner is actually really cool. And if you like Summoner and you're thinking about Pokemon, you actually might like the Beastmaster class better. And that's a whole other conversation. So anyway, thank you guys. This is the live stream. We're 9 minutes into overtime now. Thank you for hanging out here. This is what we're doing. And then actually, let me pull up here what we're going to be talking about next live stream. Pull it up here. There we go. So weapon systems have been talked about. That's now goes in gold. And then weapon type, passives. Yep, okay, cool. And then boop, 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 boop. There we go. And then next up is going to be DCs, how DCs work, the DCs by 5 thing, succeeding by 5, failing by 5, other things like that. And then we're going to get into magic. We'll probably talk about Death's Door before magic. Character creation, multi-classing, which that's going to be, that all works out really nicely. Let's go. So yeah, there's the big rundown. There's the DC20 sneak peeks. And if you like this, and if any of this sounds interesting, check out the other videos on the channel. Keep coming around these live streams. If you like it next level and you want to support what's going on here, Patreon is the best way to do that. It truly does help this whole thing happen and make this process move on towards creating and making books and printing it and developing this whole process to make the best possible TTRPG that I possibly can. And thank you for being a part of it in whatever way that you are. You guys are awesome. Stay creative. Think outside the box. Whoa, 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 whoa. Peace. I just did a triple finger piece. That's even more peace.